What is going on YouTube? Floopy Donkey here, and in this video I'm going to go over the 5 things that you need to know about the big update Madden 21. Let's get into it. Alright everybody, so I got these listed from the biggest impact in the franchise mode for Madden 21 down to the least. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of big updates that make a big impact on franchise, but the first one and is the most important one for this update is the development regression tuning that they did inside franchise mode. So what that means is that once you get to the end of every season, when you have a player who is older, you would a lot of times see them drop off a cliff as far as regression goes. Of course, you always see them drop in ratings, but we will no longer see a huge drop in regression. What they will do is look at the number. They'll have a set number at the end of every season, so it might be 10, 20. They really didn't say. They might have 20 X Factor superstars, and once it gets above that threshold, whatever that number is, then according to their algorithm, which they didn't tell us what that is, I don't know if it's going to be like the lowest overall or if they've got a position based or what have you. Then after that threshold is met, they will start to regress the development traits. Now this is a good thing because you don't want every single player in the league eventually having a X Factor superstar rating. But at the same time, I'm kind of interested on seeing how they're going to, their algorithm, so to speak, is going to determine who gets regressed and who doesn't. But at least that's a good thing for franchise. You will no longer have somebody like a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who's late in the career and just absolutely kills it. And then next season, they'll be all the way down to a normal development trait. That kills me. And I'm kind of glad to see that they're doing some work into that. All right, the second biggest thing that I think is going to be impactful for franchise mode is that they have now made X Factor customization in franchise mode, meaning that you can take your X Factor players and adjust their superstar abilities much like you do in career mode or face of the franchise. I think that is really, really cool and could create some interesting scenarios and player skills inside franchise with your team specifically. So I know I saw online that somebody was saying they were going to put Freight Train on like Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers or something. And although you can't do that and be that specific, it's still got to kind of fall within the framework of that position. So maybe like a Cam Newton would be able to do that, Freight Train, but any other quarterback, not so much, because obviously there aren't a lot of quarterbacks running over linebackers and safeties and defensive linemen in the NFL. But I do like the fact that they're going to allow us a little bit more customization into our players. And maybe if we have superstar traits that we don't think are applicable to our offense or our defense, then we can put those in and have a better experience in franchise. All right, the third thing, and this was really a toss-up between which I thought was going to be the third to the fourth best thing. Both are very small, minute changes, but kind of some life improvement changes for the everyday franchise grinder, so to speak. But the third one is going to be that you can now see at the end of the offseason who is retiring in the NFL. Before, they used to have this, but now they got away from it because I think it caused some bugs, not really sure. But you had to look into the stories and news clippings. You'd have to tab over and look at the end of the season that way. And that was really something I've never really been big into looking at anyways, other than the draft ratings and seeing who was doing good that way. But now there's no longer going to be that way. You'll have a tab at the end of the season or a widget that you can click on, see all of the players that are going into retirement. Makes it a lot more easy, a lot more streamlined. No more searching, trying to figure out who retired in the NFL. And it's just another added depth in the franchise that allows with a little more immersion. And you can never get enough immersion, in my opinion, in franchise. I'm a franchise junkie, and I'm glad to see, even though it's not a game changer, it does help with immersion, and that's always huge in franchise mode. The fourth thing is player stats. We'll be able to now finally, after some few years of not having it, being able to go through and look at player stats year over year and see what team they were with when they had those stats. That was something they had a few Maddens ago. I think it was either 18, 19. I don't think it was Madden 17. Let me know down in the comments exactly which one that was the last one that had this. But you can see season by season stats, which is huge. Thank God. That's just another life improvement for us. But it was bugged at one point to where you would have some crazy stats show up and they weren't accurate at all. And then it would mess up, career ratings and those types of things. But that is another big thing that I'm glad that they put in there. Small improvement, but a life improvement. The fifth and final thing that you need to know for Madden 21 franchise updates that just got released is that in January, they will be posting more updates. And yes, even though there weren't a lot of big ones this time around, I was kind of disappointed in that, not knowing now that really the only biggest thing they did was the development trait regression patch. And, I was really hoping to see something along the lines of maybe doing something with the draft. I mean, to me, the draft is the biggest draw to franchise, is getting those players developing and then seeing how they do over the course of a career. Obviously winning a Super Bowl and doing a dynasty, but that is one of the most fun things about franchise. But in January, they will be posting or patching or upgrading Madden franchise mode with a few more draft related things. They'll have some more draft logic by the CPU. So in one case, I was playing a franchise mode. The Cowboys were like the second overall pick. They have Dak Prescott, who's a future quarterback or franchise quarterback for them. And they decided to take the top quarterback in the draft. We all know that they wouldn't do that in that scenario, or we hope to think they wouldn't. We never know with Jerry Jones, but they wouldn't take it. And if they wouldn't have done it, then I would have gotten a good quarterback. But you just see that a lot in drafts where they just take the best player available. And there are a lot of times where franchises do not do that, or teams do not do that. They don't go best player available. They'll try to just fill slots and holes that they have in their offense. So I'm glad to see that. It will make the draft experience a little bit more realistic. And then other than that, they're adding a few more commissioner admin things that you can do if you have a public league. But guys, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think that Madden and EA Sports should prioritize next to be in the upgrade or update in January? I think it should be something along with the draft combines, something. Give us something, we diehard franchise players. But let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want more of this content. I also make franchise videos, rebuilds. I'm doing the Carolina Panthers right now. Be sure to check those out, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.